Burnout is all too common for young athletes, but it can be prevented when you spot the signs and signals for potential burnout. In most cases, it's not a matter of working harder or being better. In fact, focusing on working harder or focusing on being better can actually drive burnout rather than prevent it. I'm Aaron Robinette, head coach of Athletic Power and Performance. I help aspiring athletes remove the roadblocks in their way so they can unleash the athlete within. Athletic Power and Performance. Don't be a piece. Train holistically. In this video, I'm covering first how to discover the 5 signs that your child athlete is heading towards burnout. Next, establishing open communication with your child to help him or her out. Finally, creating strategies to help prevent burnout from happening. Point number 1, the 5 signs that your child athlete is heading for burnout. Number 1, the athlete has a poor mental attitude on and off the field of competition. In this area, the athlete often is not performing to his or her expectations and has a negative focus. This usually has the athlete focusing on everything that's not going right, rather than on what needs to be changed or focused on to right the ship. Number 2, the athlete has poor sleep or trouble getting the right amount of sleep. This can be due to overtraining or from having excess mental or emotional stress. Both of these will disrupt sleep quality and quantity, and poor sleep can lead directly into burnout. Number 3, the athlete often gets injured. This can be caused by many issues including poor sleep quality and quantity, poor postural alignment, muscular imbalances, poor movement mechanics, overtraining, just to name a few. When an athlete gets injured or dinged up often, this can be extremely frustrating for the athlete and lead to burnout. Number 4, the athlete lacks energy or enthusiasm. Although there can be many causes for this, overtraining can be the sneaky and surprising cause that can lead to low energy and lack of enthusiasm. Number 5, the athlete lacks a normal appetite. Lack of a normal appetite can be due to an eating disorder or even possibly some sort of illness. In this case, the athlete lacking a normal appetite, you will want to eliminate both of these first. But the most common cause of poor appetite or lacking a normal appetite goes back to overtraining. Point number 2, to best help your child, the first step is to establish open communication with your child athlete. To do this, set some time for you and your child to talk. And then there's some ground rules for both you and your child. First, allow your child to share 80% of the time. This can be a challenge if your child is shut down. Even if this is the case, you want to create the space for your child to feel free to share his or her internal feelings. Second, don't judge your child's words. Obviously, you'll have rules about swearing and such, and those should be followed. But you don't want your child to feel under attack or judged for opening up. Third, both you and your child need to keep this a blame-free space, at least between you and your child. You also want to limit how you and your child blame others that are not part of the conversation. The main reason is when you blame others or events and the like, you remove any power for you or your child to change the circumstances. Although this can be tough, you and your child should ultimately be using this to create strategies to get to a better stage. Finally, the 4th rule is if any rules are broken or if things get heated out of control, allow time for all involved to cool down prior to coming back to talk. Then, if a rule was broken, the person that broke the rule needs to acknowledge this mistake and then moving back into communicating. Remember, children are working through many things and discovering their ability to communicate is a major one. They will not be as good initially as they can be. Allow these mistakes without pointing out each mistake. Point number 3, create strategies to help your child athlete prevent burnout from happening. There are 2 main areas that lead to burnout. There's the physical and then there's the mental and emotional. No matter which area, the first step is understanding what the overall dream or goal is for the athlete. For example, is it to go pro or achieve a scholarship, or even becoming a starter on the team. Next, if you have a challenged relationship with your child, it might be a good idea for achieving the overall dream to bring someone else that your child would be more open to discussing and accepting feedback from. This includes a coach or trainer, a counselor, or a trusted friend, for examples. If the issue is physical, you need to make sure that there's a balance between the work and rest. Work includes strength training, practices, competition, school, chores, etc. If it's a matter of lack of results compared to expectations, and there is a good balance between work and rest, then you may need to look for additional expertise such as the right coach, the right trainer, etc. If the issue is mental or emotional, there needs to be a focus on what the overall dream is and what is the biggest current controllable obstacle in the way of this dream. The next area to focus on with mental and emotional issues leading to burnout is to help your child create a list of all his or her responsibilities in life. This includes all the athletics related, school related, family related, and friend related. Also include the areas that your child enjoys as well. From here, create a hierarchy of which is the most important to least important. Decide which of these responsibilities or activities can be dropped or deferred when the stress of pressure gets to be too much. Make sure your child understands what areas need to be kept up and which areas he or she does not need to perform when stress gets too much. Constantly bring this back up throughout the time during athletics to see if adjustments need to be made. In this video, I'm just scratching the surface of how to remove roadblocks in the athlete's way. For a deeper dive into unleashing the athlete within, get a copy of my book, Athlete Unleashed. Also check out my online program and individual coaching options at athleticpowerandperformance.com. That link is in the description below.